Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And I mean ever. And today we are talking about Beethoven's Diabelli Variations. It's a work that seems to be honored more in the breach than in actuality. In other words, people respect it and they know about it, but they seem not to listen to it. It's very odd because it's one of the handful of greatest ever sets of variations for keyboard or any other grouping, and it's certainly the logical successor to Bach's Goldberg variations, which is extraordinarily popular and longer. I mean, bigger in its way. And people toss off the Goldberg variations like it's nothing. I mean, you hear it every 10 minutes and everybody knows about it. But Beethoven's Diabelli variations, for some reason, seem to be intimidating. And maybe they are. I mean, they have this reputation for being sort of intellectual, maybe, or emotionally cool. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it because they don't have anything like the same amount of love as the Goldbergs, and they should. And the reason they should is because they are absolutely stupendously beautiful. I mean, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful pieces. It's a wonderful piece full of littler pieces. 33 variations on a waltz by Diabelli. And what Beethoven makes of this stuff is absolutely incredible. It may be because it was published in 1823. Also, it's late Beethoven. And late Beethoven has a reputation for being a little bit abstruse. You know, the late quartet, the last piano sonatas, they're out there in the ether. And, this piece is, I mean, it's a very, very, I don't know. I don't know. I don't find it cold. I find it delightful and a source of endless variety and inspiration. And I actually think, from the variation point of view, it's an easier piece to listen to than the Goldbergs, because the Goldbergs, well, maybe not. I mean, the Goldberg variations, as you know, are variations on a bass line, which allows anything to happen in the individual variations. So Bach is free to compose virtually, make each variation in its own little individual character piece, whereas these are much more closely related to the actual theme. And the theme is as simple as can be, do 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 ba bum ba bum ba bum ba. It's a nothing tune. That's the beauty of it. The beauty of it is what Beethoven makes of it. But as the great musicologist, critic, program note writer Donald Francis Tovey pointed out, the wonderful thing about the tune is that it's based on the simplest possible musical facts. Just, a swing from the main key to the dominant key, which is the key of fifth above, and then back. It allows unlimited possibilities for variation writing. And Beethoven saw that right away, because when Diabelli actually, what Diabelli did was he wrote this tune and he sent it to all the composers in Germany and said to them, let's do a national variation theme book benefit kind of thing. And everybody sent in one variation. And everybody did. I mean, even Liszt, who was like 9, sent in a variation. He was in the original series. And Diabelli was a music publisher who was going to publish the thing. And he did that. But then all of a sudden, Beethoven's entry showed up, and it was this enormous 47-minute, 45-minute to an hour-long extravaganza based on this tune, which Diabelli published separately and with great fanfare. So it's a curious work. Okay, I admit it. It's a curious work, but it's a great one. And the recording in question is one of the greatest recordings ever. I mean, it has been very, very well recorded by the likes of Rudolf Serkin and Claudio Arrau and, the heavy-duty Beethoven pianists. Is this one with Andreas Staier on Harmonia Mundi. Really, this is so wonderful. Playing a fortepiano, a Graf fortepiano, and including variations, and some of the extra ones, by Czerny, Hummel, Kalkbrenner, Kurzkowski, Kreutzer, Moscheles, Liszt, Pixis, Franz Xavier Mozart. Yeah, and Schubert. So they also did variations, and we get some of them here, which is just oodles and oodles of fun. So we have, oh my goodness, this is like quite the thing. We have first you get in this particular presentation, which I'm opening up here, you get the other variations, and then an introduction by Andreas Staier, which he does himself, and then the Beethoven Extravaganza, which puts it in a certain context. Now, Staier is absolutely one of the great keyboard artists of like the 20th century, and one of the great keyboard artists of the period instrument movement. He plays the harpsichord, he plays the fortepiano, he plays them with equal aplomb, and here he turns in an absolutely delicious account of the Diabellis, full of color and character. And for those of you who think that the Diabellis are just not emotional, well, listen to the adagio ones, the largo, molto espressivo. It's a variation 21. I mean, some of these things, there's the adagio, and there are some beautiful, which is variation, let's see, that's 29, pardon me, and 31 is the largo. And then there's a wonderful fugue at the end, and the whole thing ends with a minuet. He quotes Mozart's Don Giovanni. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here. It's a world. It's a world populated by chromosomal aberrations on the original tune. And Staier just has a field day realizing all the character that Beethoven wrote into the piece. And you'll really have a good time when you hear the whole thing in the context of this particular collection of other composers and Beethoven himself, who towers like a monolith over the whole thing. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining. Take care. Joining me, that is. Yeah, you know what I mean. And joining us. Take care.